Okay, so today I'm looking at getting the nastiest pump in existence. How do we plan on doing that? Firstly, I want to just get this coffee down, just to wake up, get my energy, and then we're going to start hydrating. So, as much water as possible. It is still early and I have a couple of hours before I am going to train. I still have some work, some clients to train, so it gives me a little time to fuel up a bit. Then I'm going to get some fruit in, some carbohydrates, and then if time permits, let's try get some oatmeal or wheat beaks or something with a little bit higher carbohydrate count. Then as far as training goes, I'm going to be doing some shoulders and arms today. I have one more day before deadlift, so I'm going to take it and rest. I'm going to primarily focus on triceps. Now that my bench press is out of the way, I can really hammer my triceps without worrying that they're going to be holding me back or hindering my bench press movement. So I'm really going to push my triceps also. I just want to really grow these things. They're kind of a small muscle group for me. And then biceps, obviously I'm going to go ham on them. I don't really have a plan for them, just to try and get the most skin tearing pump. That's the plan. And then some shoulders, like you saw, I'm doing those lateral raises with a lifted handle. So I'll be doing a lot more of those. And then obviously I would need to hammer the rear delts because they're a small neglected muscle group on my body that needs to get some attention. Leading up to the workout, I'll drink a pre-workout about half an hour before I start my session. And then yeah, we're just gonna try and get these puppies as swollen as possible. Boom, boom.
So 1 scoop of pre-workout. Okay, maybe let's add a second one just because it's pump day. Because I thought I would show you guys what I look like before the pump starts, just so that we can have a good comparison between before and after. Show you what a difference some blood flow and lighting can do to one's physique. Although I was surprised with how vascular I am, most likely just the pre-workout kicking in. Warm-up set. I generally like to start with triceps when I do my arm workout, just because I feel my elbows feel a lot better once I start doing biceps after they've been warmed up using triceps exercises. Guys over there is busy mocking my my stance, but there's nothing wrong with the way I'm standing. I know that my hip tilt was maybe exaggerated, but I do feel that's the best angle that I'm able to get a full range of motion with my triceps. So not that it's necessary with every other exercise, but for triceps I do feel it does have some benefit to stand like that, get my arms out of the way, do what works for you. Okay, so pretty much just the 3 warm-up sets, and then I'm going to be doing 1 to 2 working sets for either for biceps and triceps. I am going to go as close to failure as possible, so I'll be not going necessarily heavy, but I'll be spending quite a lot of time under tension and getting my repetitions in. Here's the first working set. I did up the weight a little bit. Still trying to get full range of motion. I do feel that on my triceps I like to get a full extension until I start to fail. Then I like to add a couple more stretch position negatives. But that peak contraction at the top really feels good in the triceps, so I try to spend as much time in that as possible. Last working set for this exercise. Once again, I'm going to try and push it to failure or as close as possible. You can see I try to get explosive down and then I slow down on the negative, just so that I can push out an extra couple of reps that I might not have gotten if I don't go explosively. So that really is 0 reps in reserve there. So we can move on. I like to alternate my bicep and tricep exercises, just so that I don't fatigue my muscle too much before being able to get to all my working sets. So I like to alternate just to give it a slightly longer rest periods in between, and then I can go maximum effort again. Once again, just warming up in the biceps. I really like this preacher curl bench, especially if you drop it so that it's at a more vertical angle as opposed to 45 degree. I know that a lot of research shows that it creates a bit more tension when you pull up the angle, but for me, I just prefer a deeper stretch. Might have to do something with my long arms, not sure, but I just personally prefer this bench setup like this, so I keep on doing it like that. Only going to be doing 1 working set for this particular exercise. I don't feel it's necessary to do more than that. Over here I am using the technique of doing as full range of motion as much as possible, and then for the last couple of reps I just try to stick in the stretch position, just get a couple more long length negative repetitions in. Really burns at this point, hence why I was only able to get 1 working set out anyway. Back to a tricep exercise. I like to do 1 exercise with both my hands involved, and then I'd like to do exercise with single hands for both tricep and bicep. So for triceps, I'm going to be doing single arm tricep extensions, just to kind of warm up set, feel what weight, or at least gauge what weight I'll be using for my working set, as well as just getting a bit of volume in. And then move on to our first working set, where here I'll try to take it as close to failure as possible. Once again, I am leaning forward and holding onto the bar just so I can brace myself and just pretty much feel a bit more stable, and I'm able to get a bit more power, especially towards those last couple of repetitions when it's really starting to fail. It really helps to just grab on and use a bit of your body weight to get the extension in. And onto shoulders. I'm really enjoying these side raises that Jeff Nippert has suggested, where you lift the cable angle so that your tension is created right at the bottom of the movement already, instead of only at 90 degrees by lifting it up when the cable's all the way at the bottom, or if you're doing a dumbbell lateral raise. I feel I can use a little bit less weight and a little bit less momentum towards failure side. Really feels like you're creating a lot of tension, and at some point you just can't move anymore. First working set. I'll try to take this one till about 1 repetition shy of failure. You can see I'm not really going higher than parallel, as I feel I do release a little bit of tension when I do lift it up higher. Also don't feel it's absolutely necessary to go higher than parallel. However, at the bottom half of the movement, I am allowing my body to stretch across my body, which just gives that extra little bit of a stretch in the deltoid. You can see there's tension pretty much throughout the full range of motion. Last working set for shoulders. As you can see, or have maybe noticed, I don't really count my repetitions. With certain exercises I do, but with isolations, especially when it comes with single arms, there's always going to be one deltoid or arm that's a little bit stronger than the other. So I normally try to either start with my weaker arm and then meet the same amount of reps with my stronger arm, or I go based on feeling and just go till I'm about the same reps in reserve for each arm. Whether that's a couple more on one of the arms, it's okay. I just like to push both of them to at least close to failure. Done and dusted with shoulders. Onto a last couple of sets of biceps. I'm just doing one more warm-up set here with the dumbbell. Nice and light concentration curls. And onto seated bicep curls. The technique I like to use over here is to curl just normal, open up as many reps as possible, and then either like you see over there, I'm doing just half partial repetitions in the stretch position to get an extra couple of repetitions when I struggle to lock out. Or another thing I like to use is to curl the weight up using a hammer and then coming down on the negative, opening up my arms. So there I'm doing some half partials, just trying to squeeze the extra couple of repetitions out, and then I go up with a hammer and then down, opening up. This just allows me to use supporting muscle groups to get the weight up, and then isolating the bicep on the negative. One more set of bicep curls for the day. You can feel my arms are really starting to swell now. Pump is looking quite freaky, feeling quite satisfied with the results so far. Even though I wasn't quite hydrated and fueled up with food as I would have liked, I still had quite a good session over here. And then to finish off, I just decided to do one set of some dumbbell shrugs just to add a bit to the pump. And no one had traps a bit too big, so nothing wrong with doing an extra set. Then on to the post-workout posing, just to show you a bit of a comparison of the pre versus post. I think there's a significant difference, don't have to point it out to you guys, especially on the shoulders, looking quite vascular, nice and full. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys tomorrow for some deadlifts, and keep on one-upping yourselves.